Hope you all are doing well. You need to be following me over at twitch.tv/YoungRipper59. We have been streaming some Outriders, a game I told you guys I was pretty excited about because I played through the demo, which of course is free for you guys if you are wanting to try this game out to see what it's about. We had a lot of fun. I played the entire deal multiplayer. And that's my type of game. You know, I like those online multiplayer games. Certainly they have RPG elements. And this is a game that is right up my alley. And we had a lot of fun on the demo, so we had to get the final version of it. This is going to be a day one kind of assessment and giving you guys my thoughts and my experience on how to play. This is not a review. You notice like for my Cyberpunk review, 170 some hours. If I'm going to review it, I need to dive into it. This is just a day one thoughts, having got the full game and been playing through it in the way that I played through it. So this will be also a good reference point when I do my full review. This will be a great reference point for you guys to see if anything's changed in that regard. So I do appreciate all of you guys that are supporting me over there at Twitch, but also people that are supporting this channel here on the Young Ripper 59 Entertainment, considering that it is different. Let's just move on real quick. What you're looking at right now is just a boss battle. I'm just going to have planned. As you can see, this is actually the only big boss battle that we had. I'm playing it. You can see Nappa's over there. I played this entire experience multiplayer, and I will credit this game in terms of how it handles it. The gameplay is not the exact same when you play by yourself versus when you play with someone else. I'd argue that it's easier. Actually, it's probably way easier. More enemies and whatnot spawn. It's just a different experience when you're playing online. And again, I think that was just how this game was meant to be played. See, the thing about this, and I probably mentioned this in my review a little more detailed, I think games need to kind of stop with this. I know there are a lot of single player guys out there, and I think games that are single player need to be single player, and games that are multiplayer need to be multiplayer. The problem is when you end up kind of dipping in and trying to do two things, you kind of become the master of none. And then when it comes to the review experience, unfortunately, people can't separate that. They're solely single player games, so they go through the whole experience single player, and it's going to be different. And I think this is a prime example of that game, or this game being different, playing it by yourself versus with someone else. But I think this game does a decent job in which it does increase the difficulty, more enemies are spawning and what have you when you're playing with other people. Again, playing with Nappa, it was a great experience. And I know a lot of people, as I mentioned in the review, when you're rolling around and you see this third person, people think Gears of War. And you see the abilities and stuff like that, which you'll see more of a display on the second video that I'm going to show you guys here in a little bit. You'll see more of a display of that. But when you look at, let's say, the abilities, they call it like, they look at it like Destiny. See, the thing about that and why that's such an unfair assessment there is that this game, unlike a lot of games like the Destinies of the world that have like, go do arc blade or whatever you're doing with your character, the abilities are way more prominent here. And what I mean by that, like, it's just as important, it's probably more important, if anything, than the gunplay. The gunplay is a big part of the game, but the abilities, and certainly when you're playing with other people and combining those, like that right now, what you're looking at right now, oh man, when I got that Cyclone, that was so sick when I first saw that. But they're doing that, slowing them down, like that stuff is important to the gameplay. And this game has done one of the better games that have been able to pull that off, where you're mixing shooter mechanics with the different abilities. But the abilities here don't feel like it's a side thing. No, the abilities in this game are more prominent, I'd argue, than the actual gunplay. And the gunplay is pretty decent for a third-person shooter. But going in and out abilities, this is a boss, so you're not seeing it as much. But when you're fighting against like other human enemies, like that's a big part of the game. And me teleporting in and out because I have the class that allows me to do that was a big part of the gameplay and a big part of using our strategy. We're playing on world tier, the highest world tier. We have it automated to where it automatically goes to the highest world tier. And man, I'm having some fun. I like difficult games and what have you. And it just does a great job. That's the one thing I will commend. I commended it in the demo. I especially commended here when playing the full game. It's just a different experience, man, with the abilities mixed with the gunplay. It's one of the few games that's able to do both of them and do them fairly well in that regards. we're starting to get to elements, or we did get to elements that we didn't get to because you couldn't demo. So crafting and upgrading. Oh man, the perks on this, on the mods for the guns as well as the what do you call it, gear, is something really special. I think some people kind of will find it overwhelming. I disagree. I actually prefer it to be overwhelming because I don't want there to be metas. That doesn't mean that there won't be one. But what I mean by that is, mix it up. Depending on your playing style, there's a lot of things that are at your disposal that are going to be able to enhance your special abilities. Be able to enhance, like, okay, when you shoot them, I have, like, for example, my what you'll see it display. I have like this freeze mod on my assault rifle, and it'll freeze the enemies, certain enemies, depending on how I'm shooting them. And it's cool because if you dismantle, you get that mod. So if you dismantle it, you get that mod, and you can place that mod on, depending on what tier it is, tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 mods. But you can place that mod on another weapon or another piece of gear and get the build that it is that you want. So we should see a lot of different things. A lot of people being creative with terms of how they play, and because you can't equip all abilities at the same time, I believe it's only 3, and I think you get a total of 8 or something like that. So yeah, you're gonna see a lot of different builds, and I'm really having fun with just what it is that I have been able to do with that so far, and kind of what I'm utilizing, the way I'm utilizing my character. Let's go to some gameplay that's more so attributed to, yeah, there we go. Taking a look at this. Let me reset this real quick so you guys can see it. So this is you'll see the abilities here really come into play. It's not that long of a video, but the gunplay is nice. Mixing the abilities is nice. Playing with someone else, seeing their abilities in action and working with them. We found out if you get epic gear, like Nappa has some epic gear. One allows him to dash, and the dash looks like he's kind of like the Flash or something, where he's warping instead of rolling. Dude, this game has a decent amount of depth. And I'm actually interested to see what happens in the end game, because it's almost like if it's going into detail as much as I think it is, I probably would have preferred them to just go the subscription route, so they can constantly add more content. But I'm having a lot of fun on this game, and for you guys that don't really understand the genre, what we're looking at is more of, you see the freezing and the shooting abilities and stuff that I'm doing with the gun. Those are with the mods. So this is an action RPG. It's not MMO. You only get 3 people that can link up with you. And there's no hub, as far as I've seen, that you will be able to see other players like Destiny or anything like that. I don't know if that's something that they'll add in the future. Gear is, it changes with your you change your gear, you change your looks. It's pretty standard on that. And it's just a fun game, man. It's a fun experience, man. We had a lot of fun playing this, and this is something that I really needed. Right now, this is a genre that I don't think is explored a lot, enough. Mixing those combat mechanics in a more RPG setting, online setting. Not everything needs to be an MMO. I wish we got more of these in a rather MMO setting, especially brawler type games. But yeah, this is, oh man, I absolutely love this game, and the difficulty seems to be fairly decent. There was an instance where we had to reset, go back and try to do some things because we were losing a lot, which I'm okay with. I like that. I want to have to think. I want intricacy in my game. I want complexity. And this game, at least day one so far, starting to give me that sort of vibe after playing it about five hours or so last night. So day one thoughts, this is a buy for sure. It's worth it. Even if it ends up falling off a little bit, this is worth it to me. I just hope that the end game is very, very intriguing, and I'll let you guys know and keep you guys up to date as far as what that means and what that is going towards some of the end game. You're looking right now at the fast traveling. If you plant a flag, you can fast travel to these certain areas. It's not just a vast open world like that. But yeah, man, I was having just an insane amount of fun on this game. So not regretting the purchase by any means. Had a lot of fun with the purchase. It was a good purchase. And if you're into like those action RPGs, I think this is a game that'll be right up your alley. But I can see how people would play this single player, and it's a game meant to be in on. This is where some games like them, they might do themselves in the door, right? Because if you're looking at some of these games, like it's a different experience, right? If you're playing online versus playing offline, it's a different experience. So what a lot of games are doing now, they want it to be rather accessible, and some games can pull that off decently. A lot of games can't, but I can see where this game doesn't feel as I don't know. I don't want to say good. I don't think that's the proper term, but as like epic, if you will, playing it by yourself. So there's probably going to be a lot of reviewers, definitely those reviewers that like to pump out, get those reviews out very fast. They'll fly through it, single player, easiest journalist mode, whatever. That experience is going to be different from mine. And I'll tell you that from the get-go. So it's a buy. Had some fun. Gear's nice. I haven't got any legendary gear yet, but got a bunch of epic stuff. Crafting, all of that sort of stuff. Modding rather, is a fun experience. You can upgrade gear, of course, in the modification, so it does have that level of upgrading gear, upgrading individual stats. It does have some RPG elements in that regards. Dialogue and all that other stuff, of course, that's just kind of gimmicky. It doesn't really move anything along. But it does have some aspects. The missions seem to be pretty solid. This was an epic kind of boss battle with the spider that ended up turning into like a spider hand thing. So I think we're going to see a lot of monsters and stuff that we're going to be fighting against, including in addition to all the humans and the other altered that you are. That's how you get your abilities. You're an altered. There are all other altered beings there that may be good, may be bad. You'll be seeing a lot of that. So day one. It's a good purchase. Good purchase, having a lot of fun, and I hope this was at least somewhat useful to you guys because I did want to give you guys the experience, considering that I did do my my long form review, longer form kind of review with the demo, and we'll be doing that for this game. So hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, man, y'all be easy and peace out.